Welcome to Wilderness Inquiry's Belize and Tikal trip info session, hosted by our beloved guide, Cory Maria Dack. Just
Hello, hello.
as a reminder, these are the dates for our upcoming trip in the new year. It is February 2nd through the 9th, and it is a beautiful backdrop of that beach skyline there at sunset. And I wanted to give a little words from a former participant. You're going to hear from the guide, but I wanted you to hear from someone who went on this trip a few years ago. She said that my favorite experiences were the welcoming stay at our first resort, canoeing in the cave, tubing, hiking into the waterfall, kayaking with Cory, local drummers, and meeting trees. And that was Linda, a trip participant. And the photo there is a few folks going down the river in those black inner tubes, enjoying the water there. And I will pass it over to Cory Maria.
Hello, everybody. Hello. My name is Cory Maria Dack. I am an Indigenous Latina who was born in Ecuador and raised in Minnesota. I'm zooming you from home in Duluth right now. I'm at my dad's house. And I have been guiding for Wilderness Inquiry since 2008. So truly, I've been working for WI for most of my life at this point. And it's been an absolute honor and a joy to meet people who come on WI trips, to travel all over the country and all over the world. So much of the things I've gotten to see and do have been because of Wilderness Inquiry. And I think a really special vibe and energy of people are attracted to WI trips. And so these two pictures to begin with are pictures of me on the Belize trip, the Belize Tikal trip that you all are interested in. You can see me holding an iguana. And I'm also standing in front of some ancient stairs that are part of an ancient Mayan rune. And so on the left hand, there's a picture of me in a yellow tank top holding a big green iguana. There's a place called the Iguana Hotel that you can visit in Belize, and you truly get to walk into the iguana home. And the little ones we can't touch because they're being cute and they're being little, but the big ones you can, as you can see, pick up and hold. And then when we go into Guatemala, or as it's pronounced, Guatemala, we'll walk around and hike up around a bunch of different ancient Mayan ruins in Tikal. And so on the right hand side is a picture of me standing with my arms out on both sides, wearing a little pink shirt and a flashy fanny pack in front of the stairs that there's a couple of the ruins you actually get to climb up on in Tikal, which is really cool. Birding with the Tut family. One thing that I love about Wilderness Inquiry trips is that we have a lot of wonderful partnerships with local people in the different countries that we go to, which I think is really important. I think that's ethically important and valuable. And we actually work with the Belizean family called the Tut family. Our driver is one of the grandsons named Everald. He's been driving WI trips for a really long time. And the Tut family also, we stay at their resort, the first place that we stay. It's called Crystal Paradise. And there's so many beautiful birds that will just fly up and eat fresh fruit right in the area where we eat our meals. And we'll wake up early one of the mornings, and the family will teach us about all the different birds that we can see. You can see some like fiery toucans, just beautiful birds on the right with yellows and like long toucany black beaks with yellows and oranges on it. They're truly beautiful. And the bird on top is eating a papaya. That's what it looks like. Please. That's a photo of me by the sea. So we also have a really cool opportunity to paddle deep into that cave. So if you look, you can see three people in a canoe in the front, smiling, wearing life jackets, and behind them is another canoe, and they're all coming out of the cave. And in this cave, we have an opportunity to see some really cool ancient Mayan ruins. Like there are some bones in there, there are some portions of pottery up high in the cave walls, and we have a wonderful guide named Alex who tells us all about the culture and the area. that we get to paddle through. And we paddle into that cave about as far as we can go before the ceiling comes down too low on us. We paddle with flashlights because obviously, yeah, there you go. That's a great example. You can see the photo on the right. The cave wall is still really high. And the photo on the left, the cave wall has gotten much lower. And so we go until we need to turn around. And the whole time, we have one person in the back who is steering the canoe or sterning the canoe. And the person in the front is usually in charge of holding the flashlight. And then we have a guide in one of the canoes who tells us all about what we see in there. Tikal National Park in Guatemala is amazing. On the right, there's a picture of me holding a light bulb, and the guide gave us a little trick light bulb where he said if we just used our mind powers, our mind energies, we could use the energy in our body to turn the light bulb on. And I don't know if it was a trick or if it was real, or I just have a lot of great energy, but you can see the light bulb is on. And behind me are some ancient ruins. And on the left photo, you can see us hiking through Tikal. And depending on the levels of abilities, there are paths that are wheelchair friendly. In that photo, we have one of our WI guides helping pull a wheelchair behind her. We call it the rickshaw. And everybody else is walking around listening to the local guide from the Tikal area. And there's all sorts of different paths. There's like more sensory paths, there's wider paths, there's paths where there's a little more of an arduous hike. It just depends on the group and how we're feeling. And this is another picture of some of the beautiful, beautiful ancient Mayan ruins in Tikal. You can see there's a family, or there's a couple in the photo on the left standing in front of these ancient buildings that you can climb up and go inside. And on the right, we had all climbed up the stairs and we were walking around kind of the tops of the area where you can get a beautiful view of all of that main court of Tikal. Tikal is actually pretty expansive. It's pretty large, and we will go to several areas in the park to explore and learn about the ancient Mayan culture and peoples and history. And then you can see on the left, we're all climbing all the way to the top of one of the structures. It was like a pretty steep climb, but you can go nice and slow. I recommend sitting down on your butt on the way down. And on the right-hand side, there is a carving of one of the Mayan gods, and you're able to get close and look at it. You usually can't touch it to help preserve it. The guide then will tell us all about what god that is, what kind of sacrifices may or may not have been made towards that god or that deity. It's really, really fascinating. On the left-hand side, we have another beautiful shot of sort of the main courtyard in Tikal. And on the right-hand side, from the top of one of the structures that we get to climb, you can see a stunning, breathtaking view. There's a lot of mounds all over the place in that area. And what's really, really cool is that a lot of the mounds are actually these ancient structures that are still covered by trees and dirt that are underneath it and have been underneath it for years and years. And some of them have been excavated, some of them have not. So it's a little bit different every time. Meet the local wildlife. So you can see in these photos, these are my favorite jungle mammals. They're called pisotes in either Spanish or the indigenous language. They call them coatis in Costa Rica, and in Belize, they call them coatimundis. And they're so, like, look at the one on the right. You can see kind of peeking over the top, his little face, peeking over the top of the stairs. They have long, tall, kind of ringed tails. And I'd say they look kind of like a cross between, like, if you took an anteater and a raccoon and a teddy bear and made like a third different thing. That's what I would say the pisotes look like. But like I said, by far, they're my favorite jungle mammal. And they walk around in troops. Usually a male will be hanging out by himself, but the females move in giant troops. And you can see their tails are kind of white. They're like reddish looking, brownish looking tails with these sort of whitish rings around them. And they walk with their tails straight up in the air when they're foraging and scavenging for food. And something about their tails up in the air, it really is like a little antenna, and it's how they talk to one another. This is another beautiful view of a little town that we get to walk around on an island. Um, it's full of vibrant colors. There's shops where you can find some souvenirs and sweet little restaurants to eat in. The Belize Zoo is really, really cool. I love the Belize Zoo. A lot of the animals there are animals that have been rescued and they're rehabilitating. Some of them, if they're able to, the goal is to get them back out into nature, out into the wild. Some of them aren't able to go to the wild. Maybe they were rescued from people who had a lot of money and who were like, I just need to own a leopard. I just, or a puma. Uh, People who were like, I just need to own the scarlet macaw. So some of those animals can't go back to the wild because they've been domesticated. But if you go on the VIP zoo tour, there's various animals you get to feed. You can see in the top photo, we have someone feeding a beautiful scarlet macaw, beautiful red plumage. They have blue feathers, they have yellow feathers. And at the bottom, you can even feed a little bit to one of the jaguars. And of course, you'll get to see a lot of monkeys. Monkeys are always hanging around. Sometimes on the jungle walks we take, and definitely in the zoos. And then, if we're lucky, we might get to see a tapir in the wild, maybe at the zoo. A tapir, again, is kind of, I feel like it looks like a giant pig, but apparently it's more closely related to horses. You can see on the tapir crossing sign on the right, it doesn't really look horse-like, but I think again, it's got teddy bear ears and almost like a little bit of an anteater elephant type of snout, and mostly kind of like a pig body, and it's huge. Those tapirs, or dantas as they're called in Spanish, Dantas are huge and they're mostly nocturnal. So if we see them during the day, they will be sleeping. Guanacaste National Park. We can hike around there. We can go tubing. There's a hike where you might be able to swim in some waterfalls. You might have an opportunity to play with the Garifuna drummers. They can sometimes show up randomly at restaurants and put on a bit of a performance, which is really exciting. Sometimes they might have time to teach us how to play the drums. There might be an opportunity to take a class, and some of the professional drummers will come out and give a little concert, but also we'll get to get on the drums and learn a couple rhythms and play. And it's actually like pretty tiring. As you can imagine, they're professionals, they have very strong forearms. The rest of us are mere mortals and just trying our best, but it's a lot of fun. The South Water, the Marine Reserve is so beautiful. You can see that water is so clear. It's almost turquoise, it's almost blue. There is a sea star. I grew up calling those starfish, but we have been corrected that those are not starfish. Those are actually sea stars. And on the right, there's a picture of me. I'm snorkeling, and you can't see it in the photo, but I'm excited because a giant friendly shark swam by me. I think it was the white tip sharks, and they have so much food available to them. They are not interested in you. It's another reason why we keep nature balanced, right? You're not going to get attacked by a shark as long as you don't take away their food supply, and their food is definitely in supply here. And again, they're white tipped sharks. They're not great white sharks. They're like the little sharks. They're the baby sharks, kind of like the song. And another view, this is a research center. When we go snorkeling, this is actually where we sometimes get to go to take a break from snorkeling and eat some fresh fruit and just relax on the beach for a little bit. And then we go back out for round two of snorkeling. All sorts of amazing, delicious food. On the right, it looks like we've got some ceviche. I don't know if anyone here has eaten ceviche before. It's one of my favorite foods to eat in all over Latin America, Central America, South America. It can be fish or shrimp or seafood, and it's cooked not through heat, but it's cooked through the acidity of lemon juices. And it's really good. It's really fresh. People treat it the way we treat eating vitamin C to like make sure we're healthy. They're like, oh, I'm getting sick. I need to have some more ceviche. I need some more fresh food. I need more citrus. And on the left is more beautiful. It's the remains of a beautiful, yummy meal. It looks like some bacon wrapped pork and some potatoes with beautiful vegetables. We stay in some really beautiful places. This is the view from the hammock of one of the places that we stayed earlier this year. These are the rooms at Crystal Paradise. Crystal Paradise, like I said, is run by the Tut family, and that's the first place that we stay. That's more of the jungle feeling portion of the trip. More beautiful, beautiful beach sites. Like I said, that kind of teal building, that's actually a biological research center where we get to have a snack at that picnic table where you see the person standing. On the left side, we have another beautiful beach view with some palm trees and some truly gorgeous turquoise water, sandy beaches. So that's a little just taste of what we might get to see and do together in Belize and Tikal. Do we have any questions?
Cory, I'm curious, what is your typical group size? Like how many people are on a trip?
So anywhere, I've had groups as small as 4 people. I've had groups as large as 12 people. It kind of just depends. If we have one trip, I think we're trying to get 2 more people to make a minimum of 6 on this particular trip. So it's nice. The trips are much more intimate. They're a little smaller. You get to really know your trip mates and build community and have a lot of fun together. I wonder if there's anybody in the group who's been on a WI trip before. Maybe you have experiences with that.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Hello.
Hello. Hey, Ann, this is Darren from LA. Long
Hi.
time.
Hi,
Hey,
Darren.
hey, first and foremost, I want to thank you guys. When you asked about, I'm blind. So when you asked about describing the photos, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you just get tired of explaining to people that that's even an option. So I was swiping around trying to unmute to ask you for it. So I really appreciate it. It's nice. But
Oh,
yeah,
great.
I've been on I think 4. I love WI. Um, so yeah, my first trip to Costa Rica was with um, Wilderness Inquiry, and it was amazing. I was so intrigued. I ended up teaching there after I got burnt out of my job. So I stayed there for a little over 3 months teaching English. Um,
Wow.
yeah, so I fell in love with it for a while. I stayed with the family in San Jose and hit Guanacaste. Oh God, I don't know how many weekends. um,
Wow.
but yeah, I must say it was great. It was great. And being an American just it's just amazing. You get the food and that's not pumped with hormones. And I try
Yeah.
to get so many friends to visit and let them know, a chicken breast should not be that big. Like you just don't know until you go to other countries. You're like, why is the food so small? And you're like, because it's natural.
Yep. Yep.
So anyway, I had a great experience. Everybody was so helpful, and on that trip, I brought along. There were 2 of us who were blind. I'm totally blind, and one was visually impaired, and one was fully sighted, and we got along great. In fact, a lot of after a couple of days, some of the fully capable, I guess, travelers were like, "Oh man, I forget." They point out the window, look at it. Oh, I forgot you guys were blind. I'm like, "Good, fine. I don't fine. That's the last thing you should be worried about."
That's amazing. I love that you've been to Costa Rica. I lead all the Costa Rica trips now as well. Rick was on my trip earlier this year. Rick, who's in the
Oh yeah,
chat.
Rick. Oh boy, he speaks highly of you. He's like, you got to go again. So I'm trying to get a cohort together. We're debating. It's a tie. 2 of us are wanting to do this one, Belize and Guatemala, and 2 are wanting to do Panama. So I'm fighting. I'm trying to get.
Oh yeah. Get them to come here. Get them to come here. So wait, you and Rick know each other already?
The disabled community is incredibly small.
A different
So
Rick. A different
yeah.
Rick.
Different
Oh, I'm
Rick.
sorry. I'm talking about Richard Ray.
Different Rick.
Oh,
That's
different Rick.
fine.
Okay. Okay.
That's
Well,
fine.
you've done a tour with a visually impaired guy too, and he spoke very highly of you. I think.
Oh yeah. That Rick, yeah. Oh
Yeah,
my
Richard,
gosh,
yeah.
that was wonderful. I think was it 2 years ago? So fun.
Yeah. He spoke very highly of you, and I was like, I'm looking. But
Thank you.
I'm a
Thank
bit of a
you.
world traveler, so I'm all over the place.
That's amazing. Well, it's time for you to travel to Belize and
Oh,
Tikal with
I've
us.
been there too. I've been there. But not with you
Okay.
guys. But not with you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Well,
all right,
hey,
I don't
Rick,
monopolize the whole thing. Sorry.
another Rick here, and I speak very highly of Cory always.
Oh,
So I know her from a Y camp up north, great Camp Minojan, where I've worked as a camp doctor, and she knows our dear daughter Sarah so well. And then my wife and I had the distinct pleasure of traveling with Cory as our guide to this recent Costa Rica trip, and we had a fabulous trip. I mean, we saw rare animal sightings like a tapir and a puma within like 15 yards of us. I mean, it was fabulous. The food was great. Just the people were lovely. It was my first trip really to Central America. Cory made it so easy with her command of Spanish. I dabbled in it ahead of time, and it was fun to communicate as well, in my broken Spanish. But
you
it
did
was a
great. You did great. Rick was helping people with the menus.
muchas gracias, mi amigo. Anyway, yeah, no, it was fabulous. So we're very much looking forward to this trip, but we know that we need two more.
This is Elaine. I have a couple just practical questions. One is, do you provide listening devices, for the guided portions of the trip? Other trips I've done on since you're spread out. Maybe that's not the case. It sounds like this group could be very small, but I guess I'll just go back to my question. Do you have listening devices?
We do not have those because it is usually such a small group and we're pretty close in close quarters with one another. That's an excellent question.
Okay, thank you. And then secondly, do those of us from Minnesota, I mean, do you recommend that everyone's on the same flight out of MSP, or does that not matter?
I don't think everyone needs to be on the same flight. There is an option for people to come the day before, and with WI, they can book you in a hotel the night before. And a lot of people have been kind of doing that in case there was something wrong with their flights. They don't miss the whole first day while we're on the other side of the country. So you don't have to be on the same flight as other people from wherever you're coming from, but it is a good idea. Like I will be getting there a full day early or a day and a half early just so I can get set up and settled. And in case there's any plane delays, I'm not the one that's delayed. Or if you guys have delays, I'm already there on the ground in country, speaking all the languages, trying to coordinate to make sure that you get to us safely and feel good and secure.
Okay, thank
Yeah,
you.
I was going to say that worked out well it worked out well for Chris and I to arrive a day early into San Jose. So we had an extra day to explore a little bit and, get our feet wet. Took an Uber to Volcano National Park, where we saw nothing because it was all fogged in. But after that, the trip was perfect.
Just
But
forget
anyway,
the
I do
cloud
think the
forest.
day before is good. Yeah.
Yeah, the cloud forest, cloudy.
Yeah, make it cloud. Yeah.
Mhm.
I have a question. I know it seems like they're Belize. Well, I guess both. Yeah, they always seem to be scheduled in February. Do you ever anticipate a different? Because sometimes that schedule is tough. Like a friend of mine has kids. I may be teaching and may not be able to get it off. It's a school time issue.
Mhm. Last year, we did have a family with kids in college who specifically asked us to run a trip for them. I think we all got there on New Year's Eve because of their kids' college break. So you would just have to reach out to someone like
Oh,
Shannon
like okay,
or
just
Anne.
organize like a group. Oh, you done.
Yeah. As if you can get the numbers and we have enough time to make the reservations, like that's kind of the rub. But if you get enough minimum people, because that was a family of like six, I think. So that was like boom, that was our minimum. And then
Right.
we were able to tailor it to kind of what they wanted. And we do usually go in February, partly because the Costa Rica trips run in January and the Belize ones run in February. And I lead all those trips.
Right.
Um, But yeah, if you find enough people, you can reach out to WI, and we're always happy to see what we can make happen, what kind of magic we can make happen.
Well, that's another reason why I like you guys, because it's all scheduled. I don't have to deal with trying to get 5 people to agree on a time and a date.
Yeah.
Like, sorry, that's the date. It is what it is.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm the person you can reach out to for that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Shannon. You can email
Bye,
me.
Rick.
And yeah, so that's for a private trip, or yeah, if you just want to let us know the dates, a date preference, it's great to note on our end because yeah, if we don't hear from folks, we're just gonna set the dates that work well for our team. So we're really happy to hear that feedback.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, well, as a reminder, these are the dates that we're talking about for early next year. I will be sending out this video recording so you can share it with friends, family. And like I said, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me and we'll get you your answers. And we really hope you can join us. Don't you want to go on this amazing trip with Cory? She's just such a gem.
I'm excited to hang out.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a great evening.